Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today we're going to talk about one of the most underfished pieces of structure that excels during the pre-spawn period. You catch them all year round off of it, but I love fishing them during the pre-spawn period. Before I get into it, I do want to remind you, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, you should do that. That's the only way you can be entered into my prize drawing giveaways, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to support the channel, I have links in the video description that will take you to Tackle Warehouse. You can do your shopping using that link. It helps support the channel. While you're at it, you might as well bookmark that Tackle Warehouse link so that your future purchases as well can be linked back to the show. It's a great way to show your support for the video and content that we put out. All right, guys. So one of the most overlooked pieces of structure when you're talking about the pre-spawn period are road beds. Man-made lakes oftentimes have road beds that were flooded over when they created the lake. And the reason that these pieces of structure are so great is because they provide highways from wintering locations to your spawning grounds. A lot of times these road beds will go from what was the main river channel back up into the creek arms because those were already the lowland areas. Those were the easy routes for people to build roads. So when you had roads that went to the main river channel, a lot of times they went down through the hollows instead of right down the steepest sides. And because they go through the hollows, those are also what are currently the creek arms. So when you have fish that winter out on the main lake, what's an easy direct route for them to go to find the creek arms? They get on the road beds, which are normally a relatively straight line, and they follow it into the shallows. Another great feature about road beds is that they are generally a hard bottom. Whether they were an old dirt gravel road or they were a cement road or asphalt road, in either case, it's a hard bottom. And generally speaking, you have a raised ground as well. So the fish have a very easy time following that to shallow water. They use it as a highway, just like we use it as a highway to drive our cars on. So during the pre-spawn period, you have fish that are coming in from their wintering location to shallower ground to start the spawning process. One of the keys to that is finding warmth. Well, what better place than an asphalt or cement road to grab heat? And yes, that's generally going to be in shallower water. But a lot of times that heat, depending on the water clarity, can penetrate pretty deep. So if fish are in 10 feet of water, they can still obtain some warmth off of that road if it's grabbing sunlight. So that's one of the biggest keys. Another key is it's a great location for them to use as ambush points, because a lot of times that old road bed has high spots and has areas that are carved out along the bottom of it where they can sit and wait for bait fish to come over. They, at the same time, another great reason I like them is because you have intersections. So if you have a road bed that was crossing a creek at some point, you have what would have been an old bridge, may or may not still be there, but you have an intersection of two highways, the creek channel that fish are following as well as the road bed. Creates a high percentage spot to fish. At the same time, if you have old debris from where the bridge was, now you've got isolated targets on top of the road bed or in the creek channel, which just ups the ante and creates even a better place to fish. So they really are very heavily traveled pieces of structure by fish, and there's a lot of high percentage targets along the way. I've got a couple of examples here from when the water's low on Kentucky Lake. A lot of you guys have probably fished these before. They can be very good fishing places during different parts of the year, Kentucky Lake. But you can see in the first two examples I'm going to show you here, they're just road beds that cross the back end of a creek, so they're more of a spawning flat. The thing I like about this is it creates a really good place for the fish to hold. They can sit in a relatively shallow water, hang out, absorb warmth, feed using the road bed, and then when the time comes to actually move in to get on bed, they can do that, but they're just holding just outside of those areas. So when the water comes up, you're going to have flooded bushes. The fish got to move, 100 yards from the roadbed, and they're right in their spawning grounds. You also see there's a couple of blown out bridge pilings, bridge areas, which create high percentage spots to fish when the fish are staging in a pre-spawn, almost to spawn, and then on the way back out in the post-spawn as well. In another example here, I'll show you, you can see this roadbed comes from the main lake and leads right up into the creek arm. It was following the old river or the old creek channel that is now flooded over, and you can see how direct of a route that is for the fish to follow. It just makes it a very high percentage route for a place for fishermen to fish to intersect those fish that are moving back into the creek. Another great thing, though, about roadbeds is they also provide very good routes and travel routes for the fish after they're done spawning. So it's, again, a very good post-spawn thing. When the fish are moving out to get on the ledges and find some cooler, deeper main lake water to feed on shad, you've got a simple route for them to follow. I think one reason that the roadbeds are often overlooked is because it takes some electronics to identify them. They're not simple to fish, even when you know where they're at, because boat positioning is very important. And it takes a little bit of time to figure them out. But once you figure out how they lay, and if you have the ability to have some electronics, they really are not that hard to follow. I do recommend graphing them first. You can drop some waypoints down. You can identify any key targets that are on the roadbeds. People like to put brush piles on them. Sometimes you have remnants of the road, or it's broken up, so you might have broken chunks that are sitting off to the side, little like rock landslides. You could have some riprap that was put down along the road at some point. You can find sweet spots, and those sweet spots will help you narrow down where to fish that roadbed, because just because you're on the roadbed doesn't mean you're going to find fish. But if you can find those high percentage spots, you're probably going to increase your success by fishing it. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Do not overlook the roadbeds. They are definitely places you can load the boat quick if you can identify where the school's at, or find the ones that the fish are using to move back and forth on. A lot of times, too, if they're shallow, the fish will spawn right on top of the roadbed or right along the roadbed. So you don't even overlook them when the fish are actually on beds. But they oftentimes do get overlooked. And I'm here to tell you, you shouldn't just overlook a roadbed. You should get out, you should fish them. Some of your best baits, you're talking about crankbaits, if you got shallower ones, sometimes jerk baits, you got jigs, football jigs can be great, Carolina rig, drop shots, anything that gets you down around that roadbed and allows you to fish it properly is what you're looking for. So I hope it was helpful, guys. Roadbeds are great. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share it on your social media pages, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. It's another good one.